Whew. Have you ever had one of those words in the English language or whatever language that you that you speak? Maybe you speak one or multiple. I like to think I speak more than one, but anybody who knows me and my ability to speak Filipino will probably tell you no. But there are words in the English language that I've heard over the years through, classes, theater, Shakespeare, and studying those things. But you have those words, you know what they mean, but they never really actually apply until one certain moment, and it actually makes sense and it applies to your life. For me, the word, I'll tell you about that in a second, but my God, what a show. What a show that we were treated to last Saturday at the Sky Dome at Rogers Center. Elimination Chamber 2025. It wasn't just a great show from top to bottom. I'll tell you that. It was a great show from top to bottom with amazing matches, amazing moments. And the biggest moment of them all. The biggest moment of them all. That many fans out there, possibly including myself, have been wanting for years and years and years. And to the credit of WWE, they've teased it. They teased it. They teased it all the way back in after certain WrestleMania, where John Cena pivoted his foot on the ring and asked for and said, "Hey, how about a heel turn?" And WrestleMania 36, the pandemic WrestleMania, nobody in the crowd, cinematic match versus Bray Wyatt, God rest your soul, Wyndham. And the tease of that, of John Cena turning over to the dark side, possibly. You don't know. You didn't know. And it happened. It happened, and that's something that we're going to discuss a little bit later on. And again, that word. Think of a word that maybe you never had a definition or an application for in your life, and find out if you can connect that with an experience. Before we get into that word and before we get into the discussion about that particular moment. Yeah, what a night. The Elimination Chamber match for the women. Amazing start with Jade Cargill coming back and us finding out that Naomi, Mrs. Jey Uso, or bloodline, or AKA not in the bloodline right now, but possibly could be in the future. At least maybe. I don't know. Speculation. That's always a choice. Finding out that Naomi was the one who took out Jade Cargill. Seeing Bianca Belair beside herself, in shock and grief and sadness and just and confusion. Great acting. Amazing moments as well too. Just like the wrestling itself between the competitors, the six great competitors they had: Naomi, Bayley, Bianca, Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez. Welcome to the main roster unofficially, Roxanne. And seeing Bianca Belair, hey, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense now. And what happened on Monday night with Io Sky defeating Rhea Ripley and becoming the champion. And we have that, we have Bianca now versus Io Sky. Plus, I'm pretty sure that we're going to get Rhea back into the mix as well. We also had, the feel-good match afterwards, which could be called, unquote, the fluff match here. Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Again, another high-quality wrestling match. Great moments here. A nice one for the crowd to cheer and to give their love to Trish Stratus. And congratulations to Trish and for being able to wrestle for the first time in front of her kids. How special was that? Amazing moment. Then we had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in a unsanctioned match, aka not a death match. Insane moments from using a double stacked table shot from the top rope spot. Maybe about 30 or 40% of the way through the match, and seeing what else they could do in order to, death match each other in the ring. My God, what those two again, amazing that they could throw down the way they did. And then, of course, we get to Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, John Cena, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Logan Paul. I was so happy that John Cena and CM Punk were able to throw down in the ring once more. But it reminded me, it also kind of caught me a little bit nostalgic for something that could have been but never was. How that could have been such an amazing WrestleMania main event, John Cena versus CM Punk. Not just with their promos and their characters and the way they work so well as foils to each other, but the wrestling. That's where you can see John Cena actually use his wrestling moves, his wrestling skills that we know that's there, but people just I guess deduce him down, or for lack of a better term, to the 5 moves of doom. And then the ending of the Chamber, John Cena wins. The last time is now. Congratulations, John. You're going to WrestleMania. Going to go compete for number 17. And then that moment, Cody comes out. Rock comes out with Travis Scott, but that's the last time I'll say his name under the show. Yeah, The Rock comes out, asks Cody for his soul, asks Cody to be his champion. Cody says in the most colorful words, no. And then the stab in the back. The stab in the back by Mr. Hustle, loyalty, and respect left me flabbergasted. That's the word. Flabbergasted in the best way possible. Took me for a ride. Took everybody, the 38,000 strong and the millions watching at home at Netflix, for a ride. Giddy. I was getting giddy for Cody to make a heel turn. And then he said, no. Okay, cool. He's gonna stay face. What's gonna happen next? Rest is history. And maybe wrestling history for as epic as some people have been saying, as Hogan's Bash at the Beach. Creating the new world order of wrestling, brother. Flabbergasted is what is the word that finally has a meaning for me. And I can't be any happier and more giddy and more satisfied and joyful at being flabbergasted and being taken for a swerve and a turn. Congratulations, WWE. You think that I didn't know if you could top what I felt at WrestleMania 40. Now WrestleMania 40 will always be the best. But my God, wow. This moment was insane. Insanely amazing. That was awesome. Let's bring in the rest of the ring crew over here right now. Let's get them in. Jose at Tablada93, Director of Digital Content. Colin Dodge at Risen72 and his podcast at Ken Jiracast. Coco Collects, Chico Nugid, Wrestling Memorabilia Collector. John Dawson at John Dawson Music, musician, balladeer, educator, father. Welcome to the show, boys.
Are we still in it? Or
who's going to start this? Who's starting this? Sorry, somebody. Yeah, everybody, welcome to Ringside Heat. Follow us on the show at Ringside_Heat. Passion.
That's 7 letters. That's 7 letters.
Yeah, it is, Chico, isn't it?
It's great.
Where do we start on?
Oh
Oh,
man,
so such a
what a show!
emotional weekend, fellas. An
What a
emotional,
show!
gut wrench, heart crushing weekend. My. Toronto, you saw history. You saw drama. You saw an industry changing. Oh, good Christ! What a weekend, folks! What a weekend.
What a weekend!
So special to be part of this weekend.
Yes.
In Toronto. I waited 23 years for a dome show, and honestly, I the 7-year-old Jose once again jumps up and down because he got to say that he saw a WWE show in Toronto. It was special. Yeah, we'll talk about like the match specifics in a bit. We'll get into our thoughts, and yes, we have a lot of thoughts, obviously. But it's just special. What a great successful weekend from WWE. What a great successful weekend for everybody in attendance, for those watching at home. What just special, just such a special weekend. I have no complaints coming out of a elimination chamber weekend in Toronto. Special. Somebody else go. I don't know how many more times I can say special.
There's a great line in The Office, Andy Bernard, when he says, "I wish there was a way to know you were in the good old days while you were still in them."
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. It's a great line.
I think about it a lot, and I think this is one of those moments where I'm glad I have that line in the mental pantry of my life, because this felt like one of those moments.
Yeah.
Yes.
This felt like one of those, wow, we're going to be talking about this, unpacking it. It's going to be one of those moments where, do you remember where you were when
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
progressed?
Yeah.
That is an insanely special thing. Now, if you like, now I'm a bit older than you guys. I've been around a few of those, but we've all seen several of them, but they don't happen a lot. They're kind of these Haley's Comets moments in wrestling, and this was one of them. There was something really special happened there, and I it seems like I say this a lot, and I don't want to take from the other guys because I've been anxious to hear. I mean, we've chatted a bit, but we haven't really debriefed this much. Um, I don't know how they keep doing this. They seem to be virtually unstoppable. In the best way possible. They're like season 4 of The Simpsons right now. They've figured it all out.
Wow.
They are running
Now I'm
everything.
listening.
Now I'm listening.
Oh, hi, Colin.
I think I said that.
Johnny knows my language. Yeah.
Saw you nodding off back there.
Continue.
They've just hit this. It's just like you feel it. It's just, must have been the way the Beatles felt around Rubber Soul Revolver. It's just like you can't make a wrong step now. And of course they can. I'm being a bit hyperbolic, but at the end of the day, there is so much great momentum, so much that they've built up in terms of goodwill with the audience, that it is their game to lose right now. Just excellent work.
Totally agree, John. And I could nitpick one or two things, but there's hardly any holes to poke in the game when Elimination Chamber went the way it did. I mean, I guess I'll just get it out of the way. The one thing maybe Tiffany didn't get as much of a pop as people were hoping for, I think. But that's it. I feel like everything else hit the way it was supposed to.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the best starts, emotionally speaking, to a PLE that I've seen in a while.
Oh yeah.
I mean, off the jump. I mean, the Jade comeback and I'm not assuming reveal, because there's more story to come there, but that got me immediately. And then they just paced the show so well. Just what a great show. And then of course we're gonna end up talking about the end of the show, which was not just flabbergasting, but I was a little flummoxed.
Oh dear.
Flummoxed.
Yeah. Big.
I don't have the vocabulary for this episode, guys. I don't know what to do.
Colin, thesaurus.com. Just get on
Okay,
it.
all right. I'll mute
Yeah.
myself so
Yeah,
you don't
yeah,
hear my
yeah.
typing.
Yeah.
All
Click,
right.
clack, flummoxed.
Yeah.
I also do want to say, because I presume we're gonna go to Colin next.
Of course.
Colin, phenomenal job on the solo
Yes.
live stream this past
Mhm.
Saturday as well. Keeping everything in track there. Phenomenal stuff. You learned the ropes well. I taught you well into how to run a live stream. I was very proud of my 5-minute teaching moment. But
Like,
Colin,
hey,
again,
hey Jose, you got to remember to teach me this stuff. Oh, right.
yes, but still, I did my job. But Colin, for you, I think and again, we all know that you're going into this new. You're still you're kind of like being reintroduced to WWE. But I think I can speak on the four of us when I say, what the heck were your thoughts after such a premium live event like that?
Yeah. Well, I quickly, I guess, too, is just, I hadn't been watching for multiple years. So, of course, so far, I have enjoyed this better than the Rumble. The main thing, I knew who 99% of the people were on this card, so that helps a lot. When it's a Rumble, I don't know anybody, because especially you need, I know maybe 10 people in each Rumble, so that leaves another 50 of people. I have no idea who they are. So, so it was better this way. Honestly, though, I think my time away perhaps diminished my reaction to the heel turn. Not that I didn't like it. I love it. But it also made a lot of sense to me. My biggest reaction, and we can all check the tape at Ringside Heat on YouTube, is that it was Jade Cargill, because I miss her a lot from AEW. And I was very worried about how well she would do here. And it's the one thing I've been very anxious to see her here. And of course, she's been on injury and all that kind of thing. Not only to show up, but Naomi got a worse beating than Kofi did by Edge. I mean, it was brutal. And I loved every second. And special, well, not even an appropriate mention, of course, by Bianca, just selling the hell out of it.
Yes.
Alexa
Beautiful.
a little bit as well, but Bianca brought that whole thing home. So, and that's how you started the night.
Yeah.
We're all forgetting Randy Orton's return. This is
Yeah.
how big this night was, right?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
So, so that, I think that was still my biggest reaction, just for various, conditions that I was coming in with and everything like that. But great. Our regulars that did show up, Blaze, Jen, and Frank, thank you very much for showing up and hanging out with me. I'll leave this till later, but we did have a question for you all, but we'll leave it till later because we're in the middle of this stuff right now. But maybe third segment or something. We'll throw that question in from the chat at the stream. But the John Cena heel turn makes perfect sense. So I wasn't flabbergasted or flummoxed, if I'm using that correctly. But I enjoyed it very much. The hand signal was weird. The Rock is very weird in this current Final Boss iteration to me, but that's,
Missed the whole throat. He missed the whole throat.
I thought he was doing it was a weird
Cut
on
the
Broadway
front of his
thing.
face. He went up the cheek.
I
He
wasn't
did a
sure
number.
what was
He
happening.
flashed
It was
number
weird.
2.
Yeah.
Maybe he was going for
Colin.
the artery or
Colin.
Yeah.
Colin, were you? You may not have been flabbergasted or flummoxed, but
Yes.
were you astonished, awed, baffled, befuddled, dazed, mystified, perplexed, puzzled, rattled, shocked, startled, stunned, or surprised?
Wow.
Got to
I
be one
would
of those.
say astonished that they had the grapefruits to do it.
Oh dear. Let's find a synonym for grapefruits.
There you
I'm
go.
not allowed. I'm not allowed grapefruits. I'm diabetic.
I want to make sure the
Not
show
allowed.
airs, Johnny, so I went with grapefruits.
I think we've lost Jose, guys. I think he's.
I'm just so happy.
It's even better than a spit take. He actually leaves his chair.
I think Colin may have meant audacity, boldness, gall, or arrogance, or perhaps
Oh, okay.
Audacity is good.
brass nerve or
I do
spine.
like Audacity.
Welcome to learning with Ringside Heat.
That's
Right?
where we're talking about the recent PLE.
kids.
The
You have
recent
to look up to
PLE.
us now. Sorry, Chico.
The thesaurus chamber.
Thesaurus chamber.
That's where we're at.
The Stories Chamber.
Well, remember, Johnny is the educator of our group. So
Indeed. Thank you very much for
Sure.
enlightening
Oh,
us.
yeah, I keep forgetting that.
sir.
Yeah, we do a lot of that in kindergarten. Yeah.
Audacity. Wow. Wow. You're teaching that word to kids now?
No, I
Kids that age?
just demonstrate it constantly.
Ah, very
I
nice.
usually just say "How dare you," and that's how I get around that. So yeah, I use the phrase.
Yes.
Yeah.
What does auspicious mean? Because I feel
my
like
God.
that describes the beginning of
Okay.
that chamber match. At the
Now we're
beginning.
just getting out of
Yeah,
hand.
we're off to it. We're off to it.
Yeah, and
Auspicious.
point being, what a show! My gosh.
Mhm.
There's a lot to talk about. There is a lot to talk about within this next 40 minutes of airtime. A lot.
Yes. And auspicious meaning conducive to success and favorable.
Okay, all right. Well, that describes a lot of it. So there
Yes,
you
it
go.
does. Yes, it does.
What an auspicious event.
Yes, and in order for us to grab some success over here, we will have to go to a commercial break, get some bills paid over here, and we will come back with more talk about Elimination Chamber and what we could be seeing in the next couple of weeks. In the next how is it now? 70 some odd days? 43 days away. What am I talking about?
Yeah, a little bit over 5 weeks till Mania, roughly. I think.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
Something like that.
See,
Yeah.
I need I need the educator to teach me math. Anyway,
Yeah,
we'll
let's
be
not
back
get
up.
into math, guys. Come on, words are hard enough. Yeah.
Anyway,
Back
we'll
after
be
the-
back. We'll be back after these promotional considerations.
Yes. Go.
Under all the lights, with only everyone, he's looking for one single face.
And welcome back to Ringside Heat on News Talk Saga 960 AM. Lex Tan at Lex Tan Media. Ringside Heat at Ringside_Heat with Jose, with Colin, with Chico, with John. And we're going to continue the conversation about the WWE Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, PLE. That's what they call it these days because it's all on Netflix now, / WWE Network and Peacock in the United States. Anyway, yeah. Again, another just mind-blowing moment after moment after moment. So yeah, let's get into let's get into the show, the rest of the show over here. What did you guys think about the women's elimination chamber match and how that all turned out?
Like Colin's like Colin said, fantastic start. And I think just to go back to dig deeper into what Colin said in our first segment, the selling again from everybody in the pods, when actually from not just the pods, for everybody involved, when the Jade encounter happened was phenomenal. Liv sold it, made it look like it was her the whole time, even though we all knew it wasn't the case. Bianca hyperventilating, Roxanne in disbelief when the door was slammed on Naomi, which I thought was perfect. Bayley
brutal.
just looked
Loved it.
stunned, and yes, of course, Alexa. I did pick Alexa to win. All my other friends
Same.
picked Bianca, and I'm like, do they know something? I don't think it's Bianca. Why is everybody picking Bianca? And I was wrong. And it's intriguing because I think we all assumed that Jade has a role with that, and so I think to put the win on her, to me, was a bit of a surprise, but it's not enough to be critical or to nitpick maybe and be like that's the wrong winner. Again, fantastic all in all. Bianca does deserve another run at a title, or at least chase it. It has been a minute, and if this is a heel Bianca, which we haven't seen since NXT, then bring it on. I know what happened this past Monday with Io winning the women's world title took everybody for a whirlwind. Another great shock, a weekend of shocks, to say the least. But I thought that the women's the women's elimination was booked really well. John, you wanted to follow up on that?
Oh, it was something I was thinking about as we were talking. You just mentioned heel Bianca. Just kind of, is there a scenario? And I literally just thought of this, so it's not really well thought out. That Jade's attack on Naomi was really to hurt Bianca, like she sees Naomi as her replacement, but it was Bianca that really did it to Naomi.
I agree with that, actually. Based
One more time.
on
That it
based
was
on a
Bianca,
backstage-
not Naomi.
Yeah.
That took
And
out
Naomi was collateral damage.
Naomi's collateral damage.
Yeah.
Based on the backstage interview that Bianca had on Raw, where she's like, I'm not going to comment. I haven't talked to Naomi yet. I haven't talked to Jade yet. So I'm not going to comment. I'm just going to focus on, who's going to be my opponent at WrestleMania. So it was a chance to present as more concerned than it seemed. She's like, I'm not going to worry about that just yet. I'm going to go watch Rhea and Io right now. You know, so
Despite
I thought that was
despite
an
her
interesting way to
performance
approach.
in the pod of being so.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's a really good point, because again, I was kind of surprised, and not in the booking how dare you plot hole kind of way. I was intrigued of like, wow, you just suddenly just said screw it because you're so focused on becoming a champion in 43 days.
Yep.
That's why are you suddenly now nonchalant after the way that you reacted in the pod? Again, I think those are very good points to make. And the WWE social media team has been on fire, by the way, with the Elimination Chamber. The Bianca pod footage is a sight to behold on their social media, like the camera with the with a live mic of her screaming and yelling. To me, given that it was Oscar weekend, best actress, folks, best actress.
Hey man, I could feel her emotion from the nosebleed seats. All right, and that's not listening to any commentary or like a Netflix audio mix. You know, I could feel it from the 500s, and that was amazing to me. I barely had to pay attention to the chamber like in like really closely to even feel it. I could just see it just from the corner of my eye of catching how she was, her body language. I could hear her through the pod in the ring.
Yes,
all the way up there. Excellent performance by her, and I did not care a lick about the Oscars after that work on Saturday. I'm telling you, I was still thinking about it.
So my seat perspective from where I was sitting at the Rogers Center, the only one of the main, like the one that was the pod that I had a good direct view, like facing front, was Bianca's. Wow. I was focused on that corner the whole time. Yes, I was
nice.
Obviously I was like, kind of laughing, and we're all cheering that, Jade is attacking Naomi, but I kept one eye on Bianca because that was my direct view, and oh my goodness, it looked even better. By the way, I do want to say this. I was the only one in my section that jumped up when Jade's music hit. Nobody realized who it was. I was the only one going, oh my goodness, it's Jade, it's Jade, it's Jade. And everybody kind of looked at me going, what do you mean it's Jade? I don't know. And I did tell the guys that the WWE not using the Blue Jays in-house sound system was surprising. They used their own sound system. So I know sometimes the sound for themes or just in general was a little bit tough to convey. We still got it, but I was the only one that jumped up. And then once Jade came out and once the graphics hit, then the rest of the section goes, oh snap, game on. And
I got it right away. I don't know what people were.
I don't know why my section was slow.
I had no idea what her music was anyway, so I didn't know until I saw her. But yeah,
I just heard the phrase "a storm is coming," and I'm like,
yeah,
guys, exactly. Why are you reacting to this?
I jumped up immediately from my I'm inside my own head, and
John,
I was shouting, man.
John, what was the perspective viewing the whole thing, viewing the whole event? Because I know, unfortunately, you weren't there. But what was the perspective like seeing all that through TV with commentary and the camera angles and whatnot?
I actually felt that the Jade thing was a little underserviced. It took a minute.
Okay.
It took a minute. Maybe I just took a minute. I don't know. But it didn't. There wasn't looking back immediately on it. It was kind of like, what's happening? What's happening? Oh, it's Jade.
Oh, okay. It took you a second then.
So interesting. Even like John, who's watching on TV, not sure. Apparently, it has the same mindset with the rest of section 212.
Because the theme was, I mean, the theme was a bit nondescript. In that moment, it was kind of like I'm not sure it's one of the greatest pieces of work in wrestling theme history, and it was like, what's happening? That sounds important, but why? So that might be something to tweak on the musical end.
Testament to Def Rebel, but yeah, no. When I heard a storm,
you said it, not me, but yeah, man.
The theme of the themes. Yes.
A reminder to everybody listening: we are talking about Elimination Chamber. We are only talking about Elimination Chamber, not what we've been ranting on for the last 25 years.
The rail. All right.
John's out wrong. John's out wrong.
Yeah. No. Okay. So I also would say that the rest of the chamber match, besides the beginning, was also quite balanced.
It
was a good match too.
Everything that needed to be done, like that work was done. Roxanne not getting, she didn't get any falls. Am I correct?
I don't think so.
Yeah, well,
No.
that's fine because she's the newbie, and
Yeah, she didn't
but
need
she showcased her skills remarkably well, and the timing was there. Like even like that spinning back kick moment too. Like I
Yeah.
noticed that in particular. Like it just hit like really well.
I think
Everything that she did, and just everyone was good where they were at. Alexa Bliss, I didn't mind her losing so much because just the story of how the match unfolded. It was fine. It was fine. I also picked her to win. So like Jose, I kind of picked that wrong.
yeah.
But I mean, everything, even up to the end. And I was even really open to the Bianca win more so after the beginning of the match.
Mhm.
So I mean, there's some emotion there. I'm in, and then after this past Monday with the women's world title picture, I'm even more in. So man, this is a crazy WrestleMania road right now.
My household was absolutely 100% team Alexa, and her not going over did not go over well.
I
will tell you that.
I do want to help Lex lead into the other talk about the other matches, but because I know the third segment is going to be Cena and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn was spectacular. But I think the last note that I wanted to make was Liv Morgan is 100% your MVP of that Elimination Chamber match.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
easily.
yes, for
The
sure.
whips
Yeah.
were heard from my section from Bianca's hair, and
Oh, we could hear from the 500s.
there you go. And
Yes.
the photo of her bruises and the nasty
Laceration.
cut across her stomach,
Yep.
insane. Liv Morgan, hats off to you. What a performance in the chamber. And I think I've heard a lot of people said that had Rhea not been champion, Liv should have won. And I 100% agree because I know we're all tired of seeing Liv and Liv and Rhea, but Liv Morgan, what just stole the chamber. I think everybody did great, but Liv stood out the most.
Yeah,
Lex, I know you want-
Thank you, Liv Morgan.
Yeah, quick points there from me about Liv. I just wanted to throw in that I told the guys this on the chat, but she looked more comfortable doing wrestling moves than I've ever seen her before.
Yeah.
Liv Morgan
Oh, okay.
has now hit her stride.
Yeah.
You can see it and you can
Yes.
feel it. It's not
She's figured
it's
it
not
out.
hesitating movements anymore. She doesn't look tentative very often anymore.
She's figured
has
herself
hit it.
out.
Yeah, she's got past the point of having enough reps to look like she's doing this for a living. So she's there.
Nice.
And so, so congratulations to the women who participated in the Elimination Chamber match. Amazing match from all of them. And I'm just glad to see more and more from these women because they are all just top tier talent. Before we get to the break, let's talk about the other two matches that were there. The tag team match between Tiffany Stratton, Trish Stratus versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Quick thoughts about that, guys.
Fun, did its job. Trish finally has their Rogers Center win.
There you go.
Great.
Oh, yes, that's right. She didn't win in X8.
That's right.
She
23 years ago,
win
she did.
at WrestleMania.
It was
18.
Jazz.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, it did the work that it was supposed to do. It got Tiffany the rub, and Tiffany got the pinfall victory, which was as it should have been. So I'd say paint by numbers. You know, it's a good push win. So, but I'm looking for more heat for Tiffany on the way to the road to WrestleMania. So I'm hoping they find a way to get her even more support from the crowd and everything. So let's just keep adding on to the Tiffany train.
Meh.
All right, Kevin
There you
Owens.
go.
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Oh, insane!
Yeah.
Amazing. Again, they finally had their first WWE match on Canadian soil against each other. They were incredible, just so good, so gnarly. A bit of an awkward ending, but it didn't really matter because everything else was just executed so well. Randy's return was amazing. The punt tease was great. How dare that security take him away from the punt, because I was ready to see the punt. I had recording, didn't get it. But just phenomenal job by two Canadians who were just
that was spotless to me.
amazing.
That
Amazing.
Was just incredible work.
And again, quickly for me, just if there's any one thing that I kind of scratched my head over is what now for Sami Zayn on the road to WrestleMania. We could discuss that another time, but I just felt like they could have had Randy's comeback, but given Sami the win somehow because of it. But that's neither here nor there. There were going to be no clear winners in a match like an unsanctioned match. So it was fantastic. It delivered. And welcome back, Randy. And good luck getting back up there, Sammy.
Yes, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, aka not a death match. Anyway, we're gonna go to the break over here. Yes, and we're gonna get into the Elimination Chamber for the men's side. And Colin does have a question from the chat last Saturday night as well that he wants to pose to the rest of us here in the Ring Crew. So we'll get to that after we come back from the break here on News Talk Saga 960 AM, your favorite podcatcher, and on YouTube. We'll be back after these promotional considerations.
Under all the lights, with only everyone. He's looking for one single face.
And welcome back to Ringside Heat on News Talk Saga 960 AM, Lex Channel, Lextan Media, Ringside Heat at Ringside_Heat, where you can follow us on all social media platforms that we have: YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and Patreon. At Tabuada93, Director of Digital Content, Jose Tabuada. At Risen72, Colin Dodge. Chico Nugget at Coco Collects, John Dawson at John Dawson Music. And before we get into the men's elimination chamber match, Colin got a question from the live stream that he wants to pose to all of us.
Yeah, so one of my many streams of consciousness for 4 hours, because there was nobody else there to tell me to shut up. So, I was talking and all that kind of thing. And after the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens match, I couldn't help but think about, where could these two go next? And I thought of my most favorite protected match stipulation that has been very well protected, rightfully so. And that is, of course, the 3 stages of hell match. Yes. Yep. So then I was thinking, well, if they were ever to do this again for the millionth and one time to all of our enjoyment, mind you, would they deserve a 3 stages of hell match? And then 100%. That also made me think of, could Punk and Seth also deserve a 3 stages of hell match?
Wow.
So I was just thinking, if you had to pick one for a 3-stage for the 6th, I believe the 6th stage of hell match, 3 stages of hell match, would you prefer Sammy and KO or Punk and Seth? Doesn't have to necessarily be a Mania thing, but just that the match happens.
Punk and Seth, 100% Punk and Seth. I mean, not that we don't want to see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, but after what happened this past Monday night on Raw, and the way that they were literally fighting almost the entire show, and again, the way how personal it got at the chamber. I mean, obviously I didn't hear from my seat, but to look back and hear Seth Rollins say "die" was a treat, and then some. Whether if it's for Mania, I don't know, because I know a lot of people are still kind of hoping to see Roman in the mix, because right now Roman,
they only have 2 days to fill. There's not enough time, so it can't be Mania.
I'm just saying, like, it's funny that some people are starting to think that Roman, of all people, has become an afterthought with this Punk and Rollins situation. Ooh. I 100% agree. Yeah. And again, this I think this is where our conversation about the Elimination Chamber begins, because again, phenomenal job by everybody in the chamber. Obviously, we'll talk about the post match, but those two continue to put on such a great show when they're in the ring together, and continue to tell such a great story when they're in a ring together. And their story is just so deep. I don't want Roman involved in that, because it's so beautifully personal. Roman will get involved because of what happened at the Royal Rumble, but oh my goodness, it's just so wonderfully, like, vicious. I love it.
It's hot. And thinking about Roman Reigns, actually, I wouldn't even mind if Roman Reigns did take a little bit more of a back seat, because of everything that went on over the past weekend, basically, and more. So it might not be a bad thing for him to just continue, just to let the other talent shine, and then Roman making his way back into the mix, eventually speaking.
Well, I mean, we still got to see what Solo and Jacob are doing. So maybe to give them a little more shine, like put Roman back in that mix. But I don't really, I get nothing out of that. But it could fill something.
Okay. Back to Colin's question, though. I'm gonna go with the Punk and Seth as well, 100%. Just because it feels more appropriate to that. Kevin and Sammy don't really need that. But I think it's appropriate for a blow off with Punk and Seth because there's not much else they can do other than put each other through hell.
Yeah.
It seems a little bit more congruent with that narrative than KO and Sammy.
Just for
I
the
agree.
sake of dissenting opinion, I would just pick Kevin and Sammy, but for SummerSlam, just to give that some meat. Of course, I don't know what that's going to look like by then. So, I mean, could be something entirely different. I don't see the need for a 3 stages of hell match by any stretch for this WrestleMania because I feel like it's already hot as it is. I would wait to use that for another time. I'm not sure who with, but I like the idea of Seth and Punk using that too. I mean, we didn't use it with Drew.
Be a heck of a curtain jerker.
Sure.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Seth, for me though, Seth and Punk, but at SummerSlam instead of your instead of for you, Chico, you said Kevin and Sammy. I will go with Seth and Punk at SummerSlam.
And it's also SummerSlam this year, by the way, is also a 2-night event
That's
at
right.
MetLife Stadium this August in the shadows of New York City, as they like to say. So there's room for it. There is room for something like that. Now that SummerSlam is the next premium live event, is that way to go 2 nights.
Which I think will take us to our discussion of the main event, because I too think there are things that could stem from what happened at the end of Saturday that could take us all the way to SummerSlam.
Yeah, and again, I know again we're gonna go long, but I'll say this.
That's
again,
okay.
the match,
we got a podcast.
the match was fantastic. Logan Paul is such a little heel. Everything worked out. I think the way that it did. I was very happy to see that everybody in my section was praying that Logan Paul left the arena permanently, like as he was slowly exiting, because he's interfered in the last 2 elimination chambers to set up his match. We were all on the edge of our seats, going, leave. He's going, guys. Security. He's with security. Go. And once we saw him leave, we're like, okay, we're good. But then obviously we freaked out when the chamber was open. We all kind of paid attention to the entrance, going, don't come out. Don't you come out, Logan. Stay wherever the heck you are. And thank goodness he did. But no, I think the match was great. Again, I thought they were gonna pull the trigger on Punk. I really did. I had a little bit of hope there at the end. I knew it was gonna be Cena, but there was still a part of me that was, everybody was so tense because the final 2 was so good. But deep down, I'm like, is this going to be Punk? I kind of hoped last minute, but like I said, I knew it was going to be Cena, and I kind of just stood there going, that is the right decision. But not for what I expected to come after, though. Not after that.
Yeah, I will have to agree. I think that, again, like the women's match, but in a different way. The business that needed to be done was done, and I think whoever needed to get their shots in did. I found it amusing and even humorous that Drew McIntyre did not even last until Punk's pod opened. So that was
surprised.
It just made me laugh a little bit.
That was funny.
So
his character is funny right now. He's just such a troll. It's just great. Yeah.
But he keeps breaking my heart that he's not winning anything since the empty arena era.
And yet I feel like he doesn't need to right now. Like he's doing.
I need him to. I don't care what he needs. I'm talking about what I need as a fan.
Okay. All right.
I need Drew winning a championship with a stadium full of people. But
okay. All right. Maybe next year.
Technically did.
TVs don't count.
No, I'm talking about last year's WrestleMania.
I wasn't watching then. It didn't happen.
He did. A world title in an arena full of people, even if the title reign was like 5 minutes.
We can't say that he didn't become champion because we were there and we all celebrated, and then Punk did what he did to McIntyre.
All right. I stand corrected.
And
out of ignorance. Okay. Yeah.
Should we diverge into the post show? I think this is what we're all been waiting. I think we're all.
Yeah.
I don't know what else is there anything else to say, gentlemen, about the chamber match itself? Because we're all so eager to talk about it. Let's
just get into it, because we might go over time, and if we do go over time here on the radio, we will you can watch us or listen to us online on our Spotify, wherever you get podcasts and stuff like that. So anyway, let's get into the post show right now.
So what happened at the end again? I'm all flabbergasted from the talk of everything.
John.
Oh yes, there you go, John.
Some rapper took a sucker punch on poor Cody. I saw that.
Oh man!
Okay.
Yeah.
If there was one thing that just brought down the night, it was just Travis Scott did not need to be there.
No,
He really didn't.
No,
He really
I'm
didn't. I
like-
know that The Rock wants to give him his like his big up and everything like that. But no, I mean, like, he did not need to be there. It was just great with the three main characters.
Yeah.
Well, and if the reports are true, Cody suffered a busted eardrum
Yeah.
because of that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's insane.
Very careless punch.
It's unfortunate.
There's a
and
receipt coming for that, man. I can't wait. I want to see
he's getting a concussion.
every second of that.
Concussion at a
Yeah.
minimum. It's funny enough. I did also see a lot. Just to play devil's advocate, I did see a lot of people saying he is the Dennis Rodman of this era, and because of the and
That's
That's a
not
good
high
thing.
praise, man.
Yeah, I know.
it's not. But it's
Oh, good. Is he gonna
um,
wear an NWO shirt now or what?
the-
Wow.
to get oh boy, to
Shoot
get-
for the
Malone,
moon,
geez.
Scott.
as the youngest representative of the five of us,
Oh God.
just to
Oh,
be
here we
protective
go.
about this. Obviously, I don't have
Yeet.
any recollection of the 1996 Bash at the Beach. I don't. You guys all experienced that.
No, I did not.
I remember
Yeah,
that,
come
son. I remember that real well.
Okay, well, I'll
After I walked up, uphill in a snowbank for 4
Well,
days.
nonetheless,
and then
I didn't watch it,
yeah.
but go on.
but I mean, regardless, you all understood the impact that
Yeah.
Hogan had that night and what paved the way for the industry. The Monday Night Wars, the eventual downfall of WCW, the oh my goodness, the childhood hero what is now a bad guy. What do we do? Kids are crying left and right. How WWE managed to pull that off in today's era is astounding to me.
Mhm.
It was just brilliant. And of course, speaking about myself, here I am. If you look at the year I've had in attending live shows, obviously Cody's moment was special. The emotion I had in my seat at Money in the Bank 2024 when John Cena announced his retirement here in Toronto, and then to be in person for that, what is a industry changing moment. I am going to say industry changing moment because it was that impactful. I've had people tell me, Jose, how did you not see that coming? Because of the story. I'm like, sure. In the story, yeah. You know what? Once, yes. I think anybody in any other situation, when Cody said no, yes, the next step is Cena. It was right in front of our faces. For me, it was more of the shock that they pulled the trigger, that they actually they're gonna go with this. Once I saw Cena's face turn into that, evil grin, my reaction wasn't, oh my god, you
Caricature.
bastard.
Ernest turns heel.
Yeah.
My reaction in my seat, what's that?
Know what I mean, Vern?
Ernest
Turns heel.
Like
Your
my
reaction?
my reaction in my seat, instead, I was jumping up and down, and I wish I recorded myself like I did at WrestleMania 40, but I was yelling, oh my god, he's turning heel, oh my goodness, he's turning heel. And then the kick, the low blow happened. That was my reaction. Like, they pulled the trigger, and I was a part of history, and that is never going to be taken away from me. I don't know what else I can say other than, damn it, you guys did it. Well done. And all the kids crying on the internet is fantastic.
Yes. Man, the fact that
I'm gonna offer a slight counter to that.
Yeah.
Please.
Having kids.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Oh yes. Wanted to know this.
For
Me too.
disclaimer, as I was walking out of the Rogers Center, my buddy David, who was with us at WrestleMania 40, asked me to text John, check on the kids.
Yeah, which is beautiful. Thank you, Dave.
We got very little time left. So John, we're gonna go to you, and then we'll go and with Colin and Chico and the podcast side of it, and myself afterwards.
All I was gonna say is I think the Cena turn was a low key relief
Oh.
Wow.
because Cena's had some distance. My sons have had, as much as they love Cena, Cody's their guy.
Yeah.
You cannot equate the two. If you're a 12, 13, 9-year-old kid right now,
It's Cody.
Cody's your guy, not
Mhm.
Cena,
Wow.
right? So
They fixed
The
that for you then.
yeah, the impact was there were varying degrees of impact. And although my children were shocked, I'm telling you, there was a joy. They were actually happy that he is stretching himself so much. He's going to go out with people talking about him, not the kissing babies, handshaking, farewell tour. This is what you're going to remember. Man, good on you, John.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that your kids actually like have that understanding of the wrestling in business the way they do.
Loved it. Loved it.
I love that they have that because they, you know how smart, like wrestling smart they are.
Yeah.
Oh, they're growing
about
up too
that.
fast.
I know. Holy
That's
jeez.
That's a
Oh,
marker
man,
of
they-
a more mature set of kids.
Sure,
Okay.
if this was 10 years ago, yeah, I would have. I mean, my son would
crushed
be a
them.
pile of dust.
Yeah.
But but again, Cody came along,
Yes.
right? Like
Mhm.
Cody is. I can't emphasize this enough. He is that guy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a complex issue, but for those of us of a certain generation, we recognize the reverberation and resonance of this decision. They do too. They do absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one step removed, I would
Mhm.
say, from what maybe some of us might have felt with its impact. Just to temper the fever around it a little bit. I think we might overestimate John Cena's impact on current young fans.
Okay. Yes.
With
We
all
had
due
thoughts
respect,
about that too.
with all due respect,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite. No.
But
And
sorry, last thing. It is exactly the same as Hogan's turn because Hogan wasn't the young fan guy. It is a perfect correlation. Hogan was past it. Hogan's turn affected the older viewers, the older fans,
Bingo.
far more than the younger ones. So
Mhm.
it is a 100% equivalency that the young kids were watching different things, right?
Yeah.
Hogan was gone, but so the turn for a lot of kids, like, okay, cool, Hogan's turn, but whatever. I mean, it sucks, I guess, maybe, but so anyways, point being is the impact is not any less. It's the same relationship to the respective generations, in my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm. And with that, we're gonna have to end our time on the radio at the moment, but we'll continue the conversation on the podcast, which is going to be available right at 3 p.m. And as well, if you want to watch it on YouTube, you can do that on Friday. So thank you to Jose, Colin, Chico, John, and thank you to all of you for listening. My name is Lex Tan. You're listening to Ringside here on Saga 960 AM, and we remember the things that you probably forgot. And welcome back to Ringside Heat on the podcast version on Spotify, on your favorite podcatcher. Maybe you're listening on Apple Podcasts. Maybe you're listening on Google Podcasts or iHeartRadio or on YouTube. We are here, and we're going to continue talking about the aftermath, the post-show of WWE Elimination Chamber here with Jose, Colin, Chico, and John once he gets back onto the stream over here. But there he is. Okay, cool. So Colin and Chico, it's up to you guys. Who would like to go and take your who would like to go and take the next I guess recollection opinion piece?
You can go first, Chico.
Sure, why not? Man, just like Jose was saying in our broadcast time here at this episode, man, I was a part of history. I really had that feeling in the moment as well. It was something surreal, something I never expected that would happen. I guess, like, you think you've seen everything after being a fan for so long, but this is one of those moments where I was genuinely like, yeah, flabbergasted and flummoxed. Like, I looked up those meanings and they rang true on Saturday night. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And it was just so masterful the way John Cena portrayed it on his face. And then, it was very brief, but then as he backed off from the hug, of course, he pulled him in some more with a little bit of a smile and a handshake, backed off, and then, to quote the WWF No Mercy N64 games, ding. So, the low blow sound effect. It went in my head when that happened. But anyway, the kick of doom over there, and
somebody entered the store. Ding! What? All right.
No, it was just, I'm gonna remember it forever. At this point, that was a milestone. Like it really was a marker for something. I think The Rock needs a little bit of a lesson on how to do the throat cut signal. Unless he meant something else by carving up his chin, up the cheek. Like, I don't really understand. And there might be a little bit of long-term storytelling that's been extrapolated from all of that by a lot of people on the internet with the numbers that were being held up.
You're saying bad
like,
blood. Okay. All right, we're going there.
I don't know if there's any weight to these things, but somebody said at Bad Blood, when The Rock held up the number 3, it meant hustle, loyalty, and respect. I think that's reading a little too deep into it.
Yes,
I'm not sure. I don't know that The Rock has that much ability to plan that far ahead. Hunter, I would chalk it up to him, but absolutely. I don't think The Rock would have that much. He needs to write it on his hand. Like that's what it would take.
Oh, also standing in front of the truck. That
I was just going to say that.
And,
I was just going to
John
say that.
Cena was on that truck as well when Rock was being.
Look. I'll say this. I'll say this. Had Saturday night not happened, we are all still complaining about that Bad Blood moment, which is why I've seen a lot of people. Oh, The Rock did the 3 sign at Bad Blood. Cena's hand gestures is the 3 sign. Shut up.
Yeah,
like
the number 3
without Elimination Chamber, you're still complaining about that. So many people were complaining about that moment at Bad Blood. I agree with Chico. I think it's a bit too deep. It makes no sense. And honestly,
here's the thing as well.
It's better without it.
John,
having said that, if I'm not talking about the Cena sign, if it is a countdown, 3, 2,
what's next?
1.
What's next? Yeah,
that's brilliant. I'm sorry if that is the case.
No, sorry.
No. may I open a fun little floodgate with you guys?
Before you do that, I'll just say this one thing. I will say that I think that ultimately it's Cena gets the title and stays heel until SummerSlam, until there's a bit of a reversal there for Cena, for sure. And then the Goodwill tour continues.
I agree. Unfortunately, John, you will have to console you kids. I do believe that Cena does not leave Vegas without the WWE Championship.
That's right.
You have to cash it in.
Yeah, no.
You have to cash it in on Cena. It's 17.
Under all the lights with only everyone. John Cena kicked Cody in the nuts.
Here's one thing as well. I mean, I'm one of those people who doesn't have a problem with The Rock with The Rock coming out of Bad Blood, doing this, hit the music, go away. It was an intriguing moment. It was a fun moment to be surprised by that. But that's also me having a bias as a fan of The Rock and him being my favorite wrestler of all time. However, there's no reason why you can't grandfather something into that. Even if The Rock didn't say anything, even if this meant nothing in the moment, there's no reason why you can't, bootstrap paradox or grandfather paradox something into the story like that and make it make sense, because it's something that's written as we go along. And I don't mind that, especially as a person who loves science fiction, time travel stories like you would find in Back to the Future or Doctor Who or anything like that. So,
Jose, what was your floodgate?
So some of my friends brought up that same analogy, 3, 2, 1, but what's 1? And the old fun little rhetoric, who's the third man? Just to kind of keep going with the Bash in the Beach theme. Somebody suggested, what if to help him win the World Heavyweight Championship against Gunther, if that third man is Jay? Because of the whole because also as well as the bloodline issues of Jay separating himself from that whole thing, and with the turn kind of makes sense. And a lot of people shut that friend down, but then it kind of got me thinking. I'm like, I don't know if you need
I'll
it.
give
but
you.
it'll
I'll
be
give you my
something.
counter on that. I
Mhm.
think his merch sales are going to
Exactly.
prevent that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
That
what I
undercuts
like.
everything he's doing now too. So.
Exactly.
But
It's
Yeah.
Seth makes sense.
oh sure.
Seth makes sense. Even Roman, to an extent, could make sense. No, it's a stretch, but I think Seth makes the most sense. You could bring in a Jacob Fatu if you wanted, but I think he's on the cusp of a face turn.
He's got to take over for Solo. 'Cause
He's
Solo
got to take
sucks.
over for Solo. Yeah. But that would be, and listen, here's the thing with WWE. They're playing such three-dimensional chess with this that even if they didn't think of it, somebody there is going to go, "Hey guys, have you noticed?"
And I think it sounds like we're all kind of in agreement that we assume that if they do, as Lex said, grandfather it in, the moment still sucks. If they do grandfather it in, we assume there's a third guy, there's a third individual, that we think that there's one more shot coming. I guess so. I want to say that I don't think we're done, and obviously that third is not Travis Scott.
Good
Oh,
Lord.
please,
Oh.
God, no. Please, God, no.
I don't even, to be honest, I know he's going to be there at Mania, but I don't even want him on the show.
I've
anymore.
never wanted Bad Bunny to come back more.
Yeah, oh my God, yes.
Yeah, I'll take Bad Bunny over this
A
guy.
reminder to everybody that the official theme song of WrestleMania 41 is brought to you by Travis Scott with his theme song, Fiend. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Wow, that was some low-hanging fruit for a title.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Very much so. Also, I did want to ask this, John, and I can't believe
Can I answer the question
Sorry.
first though?
Sorry.
Yes, please.
Colin, Colin, go.
So yeah,
He's
so
awake.
my impact with so first 96 with Bash of the Beach.
Sorry.
Let's see. Way back when I was 15, and so 96, I was already done with Hogan anyway. So Taker had shown up, and Bret Hart is the king of everything in 96, not after 96, but yes, in 96. So that it was like, oh, okay, old guy's trying to be cool. I wasn't even switching back and forth yet because the who's going to show up on Nitro hadn't even really started yet by 96 just as much, right? So WCW is like, oh, that's the thing that's happening. I don't care. It's 96. So that was just, yeah, okay. He always looked like the odd man out. I still liked Nash and Hall. So I thought they were fine. That was good to see them still doing stuff. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's like one of these things is not like the other. And that's kind of what I thought. And then ignored it until the mid card of WCW dazzled me into a lot of the people I still follow today.
Like Lash LaRue?
Lash LaRue,
undercard.
yeah, Disco Inferno, and
Alex Wright.
Alex Wright. Alex Wright. I had his poster. Anyway, so then we get to to Cena. Now, the first time I had left WWE was the aggression era because it was just slowed down. I was getting into UFC and all that kind of stuff, and that was more or less the rise of John Cena. So I always liked John Cena. I was very entertained by John Cena, but I would never put him as like one of my guys or anything like that, right? But and then as he went on and the more stuff he did, especially like working like his the thing with JBL, like that was great. Like JBL really kind of got him into the title stage and kept him there and that kind of stuff, right? So always very glad for Cena and all that kind of, but he's never my guy. And yeah, with the turn, it just made a lot of sense to me. And I just loved, I was astonished that they had the grapefruits to do it and they did it. And it's great. It's made Cody far much more interesting to me. And that's nothing against Cody. It's just that I understand his role as the weaker of the rivalry. Like he's going to get beat. He'll always come back and win, but he's going to get the crap beat out of him first. And it's happened how many times, right? And so in this, and just kind of, okay, so he's getting beat up again. He'll rally and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, this whole spin on it, even though Rock is weird, Travis Scott doesn't matter. I'm in. It's great. And it reminded me of when I last watched WWE, like the magic that they do. I was in trap, like I was entranced. Sorry, not entrapped. That's a weird choice. I was entranced. And I'm like, okay, this is what I have been missing the last 3 years and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I'm glad I'm doing that. It's this kind of stuff. It's important what's happening. It's mega level. I'm glad I was watching it live and didn't see a clip on YouTube after the fact and stuff. So
Yeah, it's special.
I'm glad you tuned in for this one, Colin, and that it wasn't your first one back either. Because you got a bunch of the impact and you understood.
And
So.
I deserve a medal from all of you guys. I behaved myself very well on that stream, and a certain person was in a match, and we're not canceled right now. So send me my gold stars. Send me my gold star. What'd you say? What? I wasn't listening.
I gave you your flowers in the broadcast.
I know. I want more. I'm a greedy SOB.
Okay. Yeah, Jose, I think another one of those mirrors for Colin, please.
Absolutely.
Just a hand one's fine. I'm not as bad as
the hand one.
Yeah.
First of all, yes, I apologize for accidentally wanting to cut into Colin's speed there. Thank goodness you guys reminded me of that. So thank goodness you said that.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask John because I was so shocked in my seat. But what was your reaction as a parent when Cody told The Rock to do a specific thing?
To go.
Oh boy,
they laughed. Listen, I would love to say they've never heard a certain male parental figure use a similar expression, but
none of us are shocked right now. Yeah, okay, go ahead. We know
every now and then Daddy says a bad word.
Thank God there's not a swear jar, you'd be broke. But yes, okay, yeah.
So it wasn't, they were like, Mommy, what's that crazy word? You know, like they knew precisely.
He talks like Daddy. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, he sounds like listen, never mind. There's a story. I'm gonna tell you this quick story, Jose, just leading off that. My oldest son was about 2 years old. My wife was going, what does a cow say? He goes, moo. She goes, you know, what does a donkey say? Nay. And then she goes, what does Daddy say? He goes, holy fuck.
There it is.
Yeah, he does.
I was like, oh.
Well done. Parent of the year.
So, yeah, that should contextualize their reaction.
Okay.
They popped huge. They thought it was hilarious. I don't know. I thought it was. It's one of those things, you know, that was incredibly inappropriate yet appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those well-used F-bombs, if there is such a thing. It may be one of the most effective ones I think I've ever heard.
Time and place for everything, yes.
And he's saying this to the most powerful man in Hollywood. There was such a catharsis in it, and I think even the way that I look at The Rock, I'm kind of sick of him. I'm sick of that $1 million smile. I'm sick of his Terramana. I'm sick of his stupid shirts. I'm sick of his the way he's talking to everybody. He bothers me.
John is part of this because you're a DC guy, aren't you?
Yes.
So does it bother you too that he screwed up a little bit of DC there for you?
I never watched Black Adam, so I don't even have an opinion on it because I was just I actually was excited, and I don't want to go too far into this, but I was excited about him doing Black Adam.
Okay.
But so no, that's not really it. I really just find him an insufferable individual. And I'm like, he just seems like the worst of everything. And he's like, he just looks like this disgustingly big smiled Hollywood guy. And I'm like, I can't even, it's like, I can't possibly relate to anything in your life. You are so far removed from my reality that I just don't care about you.
Yeah, he's no longer the people's champion.
He's not even close, man. He's not even one of the people.
Which helps his heel thing right now.
100%. Yeah. Which is why, going back to Jose's original question, when Cody did that, I was like, yes.
Yeah, felt good.
It felt great.
Mm-hmm.
So I loved every second of it. My kids loved every second of it. I used to be a Rock fan, and it's not even the final boss. I like the final boss character. I can't stand the guy. I don't want to see his stupid face anymore. Yeah. He drives me nuts.
Yeah, I was very surprised that even on Instagram and on YouTube for a while that they left it uncensored, which says so much. The impact of that is just I believe I've heard that I believe that Netflix has gone back to patch it up. But again, like on YouTube and on Instagram, it's there, and obviously that's going to be That's going to be a clip that's going to be replayed over and over and over again, probably more times than it should within our group chat alone. And we will execute it very soon. But no, again, I jumped out of my seat, and again, it's kind of funny that I forgot that Cody did that, because again, we were all so buzzing that he said the F word. We're all like children. We're like, oh my god, he said the F word on live, and we heard it. Like we didn't hear, we didn't get censored on TV. We heard it.
Uh-huh.
I thought I was watching AEW for a second.
And then, of course,
I mean, Cody was there,
Oh, geez.
within 5 minutes, everything just went to hell. So,
Yes.
yeah, I was very surprised to hear when I got home that the broadcast left it uncensored to begin with. I thought it was special for us, but I guess not everybody had to hear it.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's I like what John said. It was what did you say, John? It was totally inappropriate, but totally appropriate at the same time, right?
Perfectly effective.
And the thing is, I also think that is because of the way that WWE has really been committed to, not just when Vince McMahon was running things, after the Attitude Era, but leading into the Triple H era, the fact that they really did their best to make sure that everything was at least was at most PG, the PG era kind of thing and everything. And so to have that happen and for Cody to do that is like, it's probably not going to happen for a very, very, very long time.
No, but look, it doesn't need to.
And that's the reason why that's the reason why that moment is going to be even more special as a part of the lead up to the backstab.
And look, as a songwriter, I love words. I love when words are placed in certain ways that maximize their effectiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes swear words. When it just becomes white noise and you're dropping them all the time, it's nothing. Yeah. But for a guy like Cody to say that showed what his character was pushed to. Mm-hmm. What he knew, like you imagine from the mind of his character, all those kids there, all of those pictures, he was pushed to a point where there was no other option than to be so emphatic. It was a perfect use of a swear word.
Yeah.
It really was.
Mm-hmm. And I would say that it's not exactly the same thing, but you're just reminding me that WWE showing restraint in a different way made the actual Cena heel turn that much more effective as well.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Because they chose to, but either by circumstance or by choice at different parts of his career, they chose to keep him face for 22 years over 7,700 days. I think the stat was.
Colin put it the stat in our group chat.
Colin put it in the chat. Yeah, the stat in the chat. Whatever it was, the fact that they held off that long made it that much more effective, and it had huge punch.
And again, my flowers to both of them on how that initial moment, because there was something off. The way Cena was all big smiled and he's like, hey, it's going to be us. Cody comes in with this kind of look on his face like, oh, yeah, man. Yeah, it's going to be us. Yeah, it's going to be us. He sold that moment so incredibly well that it looked like he was positioning himself to turn on Cena, and he was feeling bad that Cena was so excited.
Yeah,
it was just exceptional work.
Okay.
At the most subtle levels of every moment of that. Like, it was really well, because that's what we were watching. We were like, look at Cody, because he's like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, us. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And he's like, but his eyes are on the ramp. Like, everything about him was focused on what was about to happen. Mm-hmm. The way he was selling all those things Rock was saying, it really had us guessing. Mm-hmm. Because Cena was just playing the perfect, oh, come on, man, it's going to be you and me. It's going to be you and me, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It was just so well done.
Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, and I don't, maybe I'm speaking on behalf of Chico as well, because Chico and I were, I can't, maybe so, but Chico and I were two of the more critical ones about The Rock's usage on that SmackDown when and how we were both saying, okay, well, what's the point of The Rock anymore? Why are we still getting involved? Kind of like what we said in 2024. And once again, corrected. At least I stand corrected. I don't know if you're on my side with that, Chico. But I do agree with what everybody said, and I hate it because I'm with John when I say I'm also tired of seeing The Rock too. I'm on John's side there, but I hate to agree with everybody when they say that the road to WrestleMania has once again now suddenly brought back the feel that it is WrestleMania season again because of that.
Oh yeah,
And who's at the front and center? The Rock, and I hate it. Lex, you've been trying to get your attention. Sorry, Lex, I had to get that in there.
No, don't worry about it. No, I actually like what you're saying about that because yes, it was a confusing segment. Yes, it was not very well improv by The Rock, as opposed to the standards that we were used to when we watched him during even his Hollywood run, his initial Hollywood run rather, and then of course the confusing and the awkward part about him touching Cody's cheek back the week before, and then touching Cody's cheek. Yet again.
Oh, I love. There was that great meme that said, "I don't care if it is The Rock. If my boss ever touched me like that, I'd be calling HR." Right?
Yeah, I saw that one too.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
But one thing that I will say, I mean, like I was just trying to quickly look this up on Netflix, but this is all happened off the air. But we had the announce team go to Cody, tend to Cody in the ring, and walk out in silence, stunned silence, out of the ring. And
because Travis Scott just busted his eardrum. That's why.
Well, of course, yeah, but
I'm sorry. That just I'm a little mad about that.
Exactly.
I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be, but I hope that's not true. But
yeah, it looks like all signs are pointing that it is. Which
so that's ridiculous.
It's unfortunate.
But the one thing that also was the perfect cherry on the top of this amazing cake was the fact that the announce team left with Cody, stunned silence. Alicia Taylor did not even thank the crowd for coming to Elimination Chamber. It was silent.
Oh, I thought I was missing something.
It was silent the entire damn time after the cameras went off the air when Netflix stopped or finished the broadcast.
Fantastic.
We did not get your thank you for coming to Elimination Chamber in Toronto. We will see you at WrestleMania, whatever like that. It was just silent the whole way, and I texted that to Jimmy Corderas just the other day, and he totally agreed as well that that was one of the best ways to sell how shocking that moment was supposed to be.
The gravity of it,
and let it ride,
Yeah, and it's.
Can I, sorry, and just to come back, because I'm trying to unpack what's bothering me about The Rock so much.
Go ahead.
I think it's because he's coming in from this, no matter what he says, no matter what he does, he's coming in as the director of the board.
Yeah, board of directors.
But he's the director of the board of TKO. Like, this is not I feel completely disconnected from that guy. Not just, you can connect with a heel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This guy is unrelatable on any level. And when he comes out and says nice things, it's like, yeah, whatever. Dude.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, whatever, dude. But
sure.
At the same time, and I don't know if it's him and his little Hollywood ways and Brian working with him, but what they're delivering is unassailable. And so I guess I got to forgive him for that. But
he doesn't have the charm and personal draw of Jack Tunney. So
no,
that's all I'm saying.
Who could?
Because you love to hear that he's coming down from Titan Towers to lay down the law on something.
Oh, dude, when they cut to Jack Tunney, it was huge. When he'd be there at that desk, I'm like,
sorry, Jose, old people stuff, man. I apologize.
Everyone be quiet. Jack Tunney is talking. Yeah.
Punk, did you remember Punk did that just a couple months ago? He's like, who do we call about this? Do we call Jack Tunney?
Yeah, he did. He brought up Jack Tunney. I love that.
He's ever said since he's come back. It was just phenomenal. I popped huge. It was just wonderful. Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Jose, I'll send you a video later.
No, I know who
I'll
Jack
send you-
Tunney is. I've seen Jack Tunney
okay.
clips. I am nodding in agreement.
All right. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm very aware of the impact
Okay.
that Jack Tunney
Hey,
had.
and
on
now-
us.
here now.
and
It's
now-
okay. It's okay.
And now you can catch even more of that stuff because that again, the WWE Vault account on YouTube is banging with all the classic posts.
Fantastic. Oh,
I love what they're doing.
I
Is it
showed my
better than the
kids.
Netflix library?
I mean,
Oh,
right
geez.
now for certain tapes, yeah.
Yes.
I
my
showed my
goodness.
kids when Vince McMahon brought Stone Cold out in the suit. That had to be
But the hat.
one of the funniest
Still had
things
his
with the hat. And
Do you have shorts on with this suit?
No, he had the
No.
full suit on with
full
the
suit,
hat
okay.
on.
But the
Oh
hat.
God, it was
It's
good.
like it's a
stuff.
nice
the
hat.
blue
the
big
hat.
the blue big eagle first. That's right. The original
You said
like
it wasn't
with the
blue.
block letter
Was
logo.
it blue?
The
No, I
first
thought it
the
was-
first edition of him coming out with a suit, you look it up again.
Oh, with the suit. Yeah.
with the
but
suit,
not-
it
not
was a
the
But it
blue
was
strap.
blue. Some
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
claim it's not blue. That
No, it was
black,
definitely
it was
blue.
white.
You cannot
It was
change my
blue.
mind.
Okay.
The dress was blue and gold. Anyways,
Fight me.
so yeah, I mean, just Saturday night, and yeah, just going back to what Lex said, man. Just I was looking for the thank you Toronto for attending Elimination Chamber, and we did not get it, and it was perfectly left off. That was.
Mhm.
I just want to double down on that and how that was such a good touch, because what happened transcends your stories and everything else, and you got to keep it as real as possible, and it was well done that way. So I really appreciate that attention to detail at the end. To answer Jose's sort of half question about The Rock and where I stand on that. Yeah, no, I was over him being part of a bunch of major things, just on January 6th basis alone. I did not want him effing anything else up. Turns out that was just all smoke and mirrors, to allude to Cody's old theme song title as well. So yeah, smoke and mirrors. Like, honestly, this is storytelling now on a complex level, and I applaud them for that. I will not go as far as to say I'm tired of seeing The Rock on my screen. I've just been extremely frustrated at his lack of skill. And
Yeah.
there
we
just
know we
Good
can
way
do
to put
better.
that.
yeah, exactly,
Mhm.
because
Really
I've
can do
seen
better.
him do better, right?
Yeah.
So I just thought he was ruining his legacy a little bit. But after Saturday, I'm going to quote The Rock himself. I'm going to have to just shut up and enjoy the ride that the final boss has taken me on.
43 days away from a dance in Las Vegas. And
Mhm.
oh boy, will it
I'm
be
in
some
again.
sort of dance.
And let's put this in perspective. Two of the one of the biggest. Cena's getting in the conversation, but at the very least, you have two massive Hollywood presences closing that show in that final shot. What I love about it is they used to talk about how you got to bring in the crossover. The crossover has come from within.
Mm-hmm.
It's The Rock and Cena.
Mm-hmm.
They became the crossover. They
And
went
The Rock,
away.
like you just said, The Rock is the biggest name in Hollywood. I wouldn't have a problem
bar
agreeing
none.
with that.
I don't think you can possibly argue that.
Yeah.
Cena may be in the conversation at a certain point, but the bottom line is their crossover agenda was achieved by talent that was grown in-house.
Yeah.
I was doing an interview just to speak to this a little bit, and I was talking about Under All the Lights, and they asked me about wrestling in general. And I said, fandom has always been this river lately with a bunch of different tributaries moving into it. And for a long time, wrestling seemed to be on this parallel course. It has found a way into the pop culture conversation in a way I never anticipated. And it has absolutely 100% met the moment in pop culture, in the massive sort of picture of fandom from video games to Lego to Marvel to DC. Wrestling is now there. And it has reinvented itself for this pop culture moment. I always knew, and I said this in this interview, wrestling is cyclical. It hits the proverbial golden age, it quiets down. We had the Rock and Wrestling, gets quiet. With all due respect to the new generation, it can't match what happened in the Attitude Era. Ruthless Aggression, with all due respect, couldn't match the Attitude Era. Nobody saw this coming. They have successfully reinvented to meet this moment in pop culture. It is an unbelievable feat they've pulled off as a brand, as a product. It just simply can't be underestimated. I have friends from high school. Sorry, Jose. I was out on Friday night for a friend's birthday. A guy who hasn't watched wrestling in years says, once it came on, he goes, I'm hooked. He was texting me all through Elimination Chamber. Like, people are coming back in and they're like, what is happening? This is amazing.
I agree
I'm
with
like,
you.
well, yeah, it is.
I got people too doing that to me.
Like, it's happening a lot that it's hooking them.
I've said last week that I ran into a high school friend and I never knew she was into wrestling. Her fiance was into it, and I saw her photo on a social media at Elimination Chamber. A friend of mine said his cousin was arguing with The Rock. I saw The Rock arguing with somebody in the aisle at the end of the show, and it turns out it was my buddy's cousin who was dressed up as Roddy Piper, which is hilarious. What's also making this work really well, to back up John's point, is this isn't a social media era. Hogan's moment, I'm sure if social media was around, would have had the same impact. But I think this is going to eclipse it because of the outreach that this is getting. ESPN ESPN's First Take with Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith commented. Jon Stewart had a hilarious comment about the whole thing. I don't want to get into it, but he related to it really well. Even my work, the company that I work for, The Score, and I've shared like written pieces on the Ringside socials. We're getting a little bit deeper into it. We're sending some of our guys we had somebody from our company cover the event, which is incredible. And obviously, when it comes to something that's impactful, you're gonna have memes, and oh my goodness, have the memes been amazing from such as, but not limited to, Make-A-Wish CEO is panicking. Not Make-A-Wish, Break-A-Wish. Please get your jorts and fly them at half mast in honor of John Cena's heel turn. The list goes on and on, my friends. The list goes on and on.
One of the darker ones was John Cena gives 7-year-old kid cancer.
That meme's been around before, but it came right back with this.
Oh
so
man!
fantastic.
Also, when you're angry, when you tell your wife that you're gonna go to sleep, but you turn on the PS5, just classic meme.
Oh yeah.
Friends,
just
when the internet
will be up there, it will be.
It's again like the outreach that this moment has getting people that is not into wrestling memeing about it and related to wrestling. WWE wins at the end of the day with everybody making content and bringing up John Cena, because that is how impactful that this moment is and will be for the rest of our lives.
And with John Cena, actually, so the night before or before the Elimination Chamber PLE, he tweets out, or he posts on his socials, tonight I walk into my final WWE Chamber match to secure my WrestleMania main event. Toronto is the place where I announced I would retire, and tonight is going to be an event you can't miss. And that is something that he said back in July when they were here for Money in the Bank, that he's coming back, and you are never going to forget it. You are never going to forget the final night that John Cena came to Toronto. And they certainly, like with John's people, with Rock's people, and with Triple H's people, all working together to pull this off. It's insane that they were able to do that. And as you were saying, I was just thinking about it when you said it. Yes, if social media was a thing back in 1996, that would be one thing. But the social media of that time, I don't remember what it was like. I did not see what it was like for Hogan itself, for the Hogan moment himself. But I do remember the night that Princess Diana died in that car crash in 1997. Like social media of the time was like, it was IRC, or what was IRC chats, private chats on the internet, and chats that had nothing to do with the royal family or anything like that were talking about it. It was just all over all of those private IRC chats. And I can only imagine that's probably the way it was for Hogan, because for Hogan in the IRC chats around that time. Plus, we also still did have your NoDQ.com or whatever, or all the wrestling websites and all the wrestling dirt sheets. They must have been talking about it as well. So for that time
when people weren't on their phones or something,
yeah,
had
exactly.
to free it up for the internet.
Exactly, but then like it was like I can imagine that impact that Hogan's moment had because of what I saw on the day that Princess Diana passed away, and yeah, it's I think it's I think it's gonna, as you said, Jose, it's gonna last. This moment is going to last forever. It's we, um, you know, I don't. The only thing, the only moment bigger in Toronto now is going to probably is going to be if the Leafs ever win the Stanley Cup.
Sure.
Particularly for Toronto, I'm just looking at the local level over here.
Yeah,
but like, yeah, that's one of those moments that that will be, when we have our kids and our grandkids are going to ask us about this.
Yeah, man, we're all gonna tell them that even CP24 had talked about WWE under broadcast. Special, just a special time for us all.
Yeah, big deal.
Big
Big deal.
Ringside Heat on previously on Newstalk Saga 960 AM, but on your favorite podcatcher as well as on YouTube. What a discussion that we had here today. What we are going to have to end the show in a couple of minutes over here, but teeing up this coming Sunday, we have another Ringside Heat watch along for AEW Revolution, and Colin is going to be hosting it alongside Jose, and I'm going to be there as well for this as well. I told this, I mentioned this to you 3 weeks ago that I was going to be there too.
Oh no, Colin, you're cutting out. You're busy Sunday? Oh shoot, are you're yeah, no, oh shoot, oh no, I think I'm busy on Sunday. I'm not sure. Oh darn.
The more the merrier. We love wrestling. Johnny, you're welcome as well.
I think they just latched onto my internet. I think.
Oh,
Jose did. Yeah.
That's good. That's pretty good.
But yes, Revolution stacked card. Still less than double digits amount of matches. So, but we'll see. There's a week left. We still got a week.
We're not holding our breaths.
Not holding our breaths. No.
Speaking of it,
I know we're about to end this, but Colin, in all honesty, I'm so ignorant to Revolution right now. Can you just give me a quick rundown? I'm curious.
Well, I'm not going to name all the matches, but
okay, all right.
Some of the best ones to watch: Ospreay versus Fletcher,
okay.
Takeshita versus Kenny Omega for the International Championship.
Oh, that's gonna be a banger.
Of course, we've got Mox versus Edge. I mean, Cope. I mean, Adam number 1, whatever. He's been decimating the Death Riders this entire time. There's really only one left aside from Mox. Everyone's getting concertos. Even Marina Shafir got one from Willow. So this could be the end of the Death Riders. I'm thinking it's not landing the way they wanted it. But anyway.
It has not.
And of course, time was Tony Storm versus Mariah May. This is the end of their feud as far as I can tell.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's going to be amazing.
That one at least, John, come on, you got
the end caught me. End of it. Good.
I don't think that awesome was for the way that you guys thought it was.
I do remember Johnny saying that he would give AEW another try because I was watching WWE again, but he might be, just saying things.
Yeah.
It's hard to know.
I could have been lying.
Redeeming your favor
to me.
Yeah, I could have. Well, maybe. I don't really lie to you, but I mean,
we could start. It'd make it a lot more fun.
John's reaction reminded me of the Muppets with Statler and Waldorf at the end of the Muppet Show, and they always have those like little quips. It's like, I really like that last number. Why did you like it? It was the last number.
That's pretty much on par with how funny Johnny is. Yeah, that works. Yeah. But it's going to be a fun time. It usually is. They've been having very good pay-per-views. They still call them pay-per-views. It's crazy. So, yeah. Stop by.
That's right. So make sure
I know who everybody is.
Yes. That's it. So tune in for our watch along this coming Sunday, starting at 6:45 bell time for AEW Revolution is 7:00. And of course, you can listen to us anytime on the internet using your favorite podcatcher, YouTube, and you can listen to us on Saga 960 AM, Wednesdays at 2 p.m., Sundays at 7 p.m., and occasionally the bonus the bonus broadcast, depending on if the Mississauga Steelheads or Raptors 905 are playing. So you'll be able to find us anywhere you like on many different types of media. So thank you to the director of digital content, Jose Tabuada at Tabuada93, Colin Dodge, charity Twitch streamer at Risen72, and Godzilla podcaster at KenjiraCast, Chico at Coco Collects, wrestling memorabilia collector and expert, John Dawson, musician, educator, dad, and diamond selling musician at John Dawson Music. My name is Lex Tan. You can follow me at Lex Tan Media, and you can follow the show at Ringside_Heat on YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, as well as Threads and Patreon. And thank you for listening in on the podcast and watching the show on YouTube. We remember the things you probably forgot. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.